Well, we'll see who's going to take game one of this upper bracket clash between VortiX and LucifroN. We begin the best of 5 with an Ottoman mirror.
And here it is, Sheep coming on into play. We're going to see how many villagers are moving out on the map, and VortiX swiftly with 6. And LucifroN looks like he's a few steps behind it and don't see as big of a yellow blob on the map. So I could be scared for LucifroN.
2? Bruh, like, he's your scrimming partner. Either he's been holding some stuff back, or you forgot how this opening works.
And no scout. There's no scout with it. He's going to get circled.
You should be able to pull away. Like, you know, you're never going to get that wraparound because of the angle. But now you just idle 2 villagers. Like, these guys have no purpose. Especially considering VortiX has a scout. So you can't even, like, fake back and go around the backside. You are never getting out here for a dock.
Yeah, so what he's choosing to do, building a military school and most likely going to drop a barracks there with it. Going to go with the double spearman production out of either of those. One he'll have to pay for, one he will not. VortiX only going with that barracks in reply.
Yeah, because he's turtling. So he can eventually just add an outpost as well. Like, I would have actually preferred LucifroN's approach if he didn't go to the center in the first place. But because he idled 2 villagers, this feels better for VortiX. You know, yes, he's going to have a big burden on his wood because now he needs to push fishing ships and buy the racks plus spin, which cost 20 wood each. And I still want him to add an outpost for 100 wood. But remember, we're on a 12 villager start. That's actually feasible and definitely desirable in this situation.
Exactly. You can already see the wood income skyrocketing for VortiX. LucifroN, though, lost a little bit of timing with those 2 vills, like you said. He would have had a couple spearmen out, you know, just a few seconds earlier, which can be the big difference as VortiX already starting to pump those fishing boats out, has a little bit of extra eco that he's going to have coming in.
Yeah, and VortiX, like, he could easily just set up his own military school. Like, I don't think this opening from LucifroN now puts him at a good advantage. You know, maybe if we were talking about, like, a micro mismatch, where one player was a micro god and the other was not, but, like, these guys, I'd say they are neck and neck. Like, their micro is phenomenally on point. I think through the history of this game, if you had to rank people on micro, for me, these guys are in the top 4.
Oh, absolutely. And notice the spearman number, though. It's 2-2, and VortiX still has vills there if needed to pull. And so choosing to just take this fight, we'll be able to spot out that vill attempting to build that dock and pulls his spearman right back to it, gets a couple hits on it. Gonna be easier if that vill tries to build up another dock to take it down, maybe sneak over and pick it off, or just delay the dock a little bit, as it's still 3 fishing boats to 0 right now.
VortiX was so on point in that clash. He baited one the spearman past and got a double tap on it to put him ahead in the 2-on-2 clash. And even then, chasing the villager, he was optimal to get 2 strikes per spears. And this means that now that villager is low enough that he can dive right past. Sure, it's going to cost him a spear, but in return, it's going to cost LucifroN an incomplete dock.
And LucifroN even pulled up another vill, gets spotted out for VortiX. VortiX on top of that vill as well. No reaction from LucifroN yet. Villager... If this go, I mean, that's no reaction on the vill. I was about to say, if that vill goes down, it's game. And I mean, there's no real solid way for LucifroN to effectively come back for this other than having his spearmen get some super effective trading here.
I legit thought he was actually going to call GG there. When he idles a villager like that, like, you know, I know you got other things you're managing, you're figuring out the plan, but, like, that's a big deal to miss that. Just being 2 villies down already, and if you look at the spearman count, LucifroN doesn't actually have a big edge. Sure, some of VortiX's are injured, but he went double racks and he has fishing to back this up. This is problematic. LucifroN cannot really afford any more mistakes, or he could just end up being forced to GG.
Yeah, VortiX being safe too, pulls those villagers back forward. He knows he has the kind of win right now. He knows he's gotten the trades earlier on, so he's playing it safe, playing it smart as well.
I mean, he done it again. He just yoinked another. LucifroN is losing in each and every one of these trades.
And look at the fight, the positioning point that he chooses to fight at. It's where his spears get extra attacks on every single time. And now he has the numbers. Now he has the difference here, as it's a military school and barracks versus double barracks production.
Oh my god, VortiX's pullback is brilliant here. All the injured spearmen just keep existing. He shuffles them to the back of the formation, so if they ever fight, they're the second layer in. LucifroN won't be able to auto-aggro. He needs to immediately target them. And we know that can kind of be a fickle thing to do when you've got this many spears clustered together.
Yeah, the lower health spears just holding back, playing it safe as VortiX knows, and he just keeps doing it. This is unbelievable micro here by VortiX. Next time he comes back, he's just going to have 5, 6, 7 more spears than LucifroN, taking that dub.
It's so much worse.
To heal him back to full.
They both
That's
made
so
the
much
play.
value.
They both done it, Dabston. But VortiX, and I think LucifroN knew what was coming because he made the same play. We said they play up against each other all the time. He's fully aware the healing factor is going to come in. And I think we are really one clash away from him waving the white flag. Like, it really is at that stage. You know, LucifroN can get a quicker tech up. That's his one edge. But VortiX, you know, he's got additional spears to now leverage. You know, you can eventually counter these with archers, but you're not going to have them immediately at the beginning of your feudal age.
And the value comparative to LucifroN's, those two imams, just so much more value. It's 18 to 12. There's no way this fight can be taken from LucifroN. If he does, it is going to be absolutely game. And in VortiX, we've seen the spears circle around and attack those imams before when you have those numbers. That's the way that LucifroN loses this fight. Imams equal on the either side, spears starting to wrap, and numbers just way too good for VortiX. LucifroN trying to micro back and forth, trying to just stall this up for feudal age to come through. First spearman loses out on LucifroN's side.
So silly. Like, take note of what LucifroN's doing here. He's playing against the gold vein intentionally, so he can't be encircled. It's the only reason this looks slightly close. But when you get pinched like that, you are moments away. He knows he's now going to end up losing the dog. The twin minaret Madrissa is coming on both sides. And with that food advantage VortiX is now going to have, you have to wonder where LucifroN goes from here.
Spears trying to dive, trying to do this again. There's still a few lower health spears. Looks like VortiX is just committing after it. Says, all right, you're not going to be able to kill my spears fast enough. Pulls the lower health ones back again. This is just some of the best micro I have ever seen. Now the spears have taken down the dock, rendered the fishing useless. And VortiX, again, just taking this win as he might just wait for his own feudal age timing.
I wonder how zoomed in these players are, right? Like, how zoomed in are they? Because they are so on point with every single pull. But every time, you just see VortiX is a second ahead. Finally, something goes the way of Lucy. He does snipe out the scout. But if anyone's like, yeah, big vision advantage, no. Because those fishing boats are scouts as well. They see everything here. This is becoming really difficult now for Lucy. He's at least recovered the giant deficit in terms of spear count. But the difference is that actually VortiX is going into the archership ahead of what Lucy can do.
And Imam's getting focused down a little bit. LucifroN making sure the Imams heal each other, which makes the spears not getting healed not as effective. And an archer ship pops out. Villager gets taken out on the dock yet again. So that's 4 kills compared to 0. And these fights now heavily going even further in the favor of VortiX. He has shown how to turn a small stream into a waterfall with this snowball over here.
And the RNG of these archer ships means you could actually just end up just getting one punch on one of your spearmen randomly. Like, it's just so unpredictable. You can see sometimes they just completely miss, but it's just a gamble every time LucifroN approaches. Now, he does have archers coming out ahead of VortiX, but VortiX has this whole proxy-based situation going on. He can build his archery ranges and his blacksmiths out here near the water, meaning that the defensive advantage you usually offered in these situations won't necessarily be there for Lucy.
And the problem with archers, you're going to need about 10 of them before you're able to one-shot those spearmen. If you're not one-shotting them, they're just getting healed back up, and VortiX has the numbers, just going to chase down archers on the other side, surround them with spears. He doesn't care if it's the counter unit because the mass that VortiX has been able to keep up with his micro. Meter popping out as well for VortiX, and more production up on that front side, as you were mentioning, will have a much shorter time than typical for that production to get there.
And this is kind of like the new Delhi healing phase, right? Because, of course, combat healing got nerfed. It went from 7 to 3.5 when you're being attacked. However, those imams with their 1 AoE healing, that doesn't get crippled by combat. That's actually always a flat rate 1. It doesn't go down to 0.5 or anything like that. So, like, Ottomans are quickly becoming probably the most efficient healers when fighting like this.
And there's a sprinkled ship to help on out. More villagers trying to go build a secret dock for LucifroN, trying to contest this water in the middle as we keep talking about it. And Imam.
But it's like, at this stage, the imams are somewhat discardable because you're both switching to archers, so you are going to lose them in a battle. It's unfortunate. I don't really know why Lucy even wanted him there. Like, if you just keep him at home, because if we look for VortiX's, I imagine his imams are just safely parked away, right? Like, that's the better play to make now.
Dock has gone up. Second dock being built.
Ambitious.
Looks like LucifroN has the stone. Just going to get emplacements there to start counteracting all of the water. Archers and spears stepping up to try to take down this archer ship. You can see, just as we were talking about earlier, sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. It's just kind of always random. But has spotted out those Vills building the dock and getting closer to denying that second dock, which is just so important. Good dodge there on the second one, but during this, LucifroN's lost 6-7 Vills going out to try to build docks.
Yeah.
Spears fighting on, archers in the back line. There are a significant more number of archers for LucifroN compared to VortiX.
They're trapped
but
in a corner.
It doesn't matter.
They have nowhere to go right now. Like, he's bamboozled. He's been stuck in a corner here. So the spears will force the fight. You just have to run. And remember, this fight is being taken right now where one side has that beautiful golden glow of the meta and the other simply does not.
Yeah, just so much more effective. VortiX has just continued to snowball this. LucifroN investing more into contesting water, but needs to be investing more into his land as the military numbers have turned 45 to 15. VortiX is tripling that mass on the other side.
And this is how you use the imams. Oh, what? He has no archers in this fight? Perfect time to bring in the combat healing, baby. Docks are going to be cleaned up as well because LucifroN was never able to afford to go into the demo ships. In fact, he hasn't been gathering gold at all. The only redeeming quality Lucy could potentially have is a second TC, but it would take too long. VortiX looks too strong. He will take game one.
Gosh, that was just an overwhelming snowball there from VortiX, just showing you that you have to respect the water in the middle. You can't take it lightly. You got to go all or nothing over there.
Yeah, it was an interesting approach, right? You see the mirrored approach, but the micro just being slightly on point in favor of VortiX there just really made the difference. Like that peel back time and time again. I think it happened 5-6 times in a row where his spearman got away on what felt like an empty HP bar. And sure, he might not have immediately killed something the other side, but with the delayed timing on those imams arriving, it meant that he was in a position to eventually just whittle away at Lucy's forces. Just a great read. Loved this opening. Definitely preferred it. You know, I go back to the early phase and wonder what if Lucy hadn't pulled those villages at all. Maybe he would have had 1 or 2 extra spears. And with how close their micro was on both sides, maybe we're looking at a completely different outcome.
Yeah, because if you think about those 1 or 2 extra spears earlier on, that means the dot goes up. That means that first Vil doesn't go down. The second Vil, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and so on. And LucifroN's able to pump those fishing boats out earlier. It is a totally different game. But VortiX just showing you how that effective gameplay early on, an effective plan to start can pay dividends.
Puts in 1 game up, but remember, we aren't into the BO3 territory anymore. Now we've moved slightly beyond that into best of 5, so we have got at least 2 more games ahead of us, which means, you know, technically my prediction of 3 mirrors in a series could still be entirely true. As I think we're going to find out in a second when we move back in the lobby, as I imagine they've probably already picked out what they want to do for game number 2.